Welcome to Global Homeroom, a global education video series with Reach the World. I'm your host and Reach the World Senior Program Manager, Colin Teague. In our premiere episode, we will share highlights from a recent virtual event at Bronx Global Learning Institute for Girls Charter School, and we will speak with Bronx Global Learning Institute for Girls Middle School Literacy Coach, Danielle Rembert, about integrating global education in middle school curriculum. On January 12th, Bronx Global Learning Institute for Girls and Reach the World hosted Dr. Maliha Khan, Chief Programs Officer at Malala Fund, in 6th grade English Language Arts classes. The students, who are reading I Am Malala in class, had the opportunity to ask Dr. Khan about her career, Malala Fund's work, and life in her native Pakistan.
Since the COVID-19 and most children lost the right to go to school, are you guys now fighting for both the genders or still focusing on the female gender?
No, I mean, we often get asked that. And we focus on quality education for everybody because we know that the best way to keep a girl in school and educate at school is for the school system to be strong. And you can't make that strong by just focusing on girls. However, we also recognize that everywhere in the world, even in the US, but very, very true in most of the countries we work in, girls face extra barriers than boys do.
Thank you to our colleagues from Bronx Global Learning Institute for Girls, Malala Fund, and City E for Education for making this special event possible. Now it's time to welcome Danielle Rembert, Middle School Literacy Coach at Bronx Global Learning Institute for Girls. Ms. Rembert, can you tell us a little bit about the school?
We are a charter school, an all-girls charter school for grades kindergarten through 8th grade, and we are located in the Bronx, and it's District 7 of the Bronx, and we go by the acronym BGLIG. We say Big League. So if you think about it like you're in the big leagues now, but without the S. We really strive to create an atmosphere, a family atmosphere, where we can teach our girls how to be leaders, and we want them to be global thinkers and leaders.
Thank you. And that's what brings us together, Bronx Global Learning Institute for Girls and Reach the World. Yes. We are both champions of global education. And can you tell us more about the global dimension of Big League's curriculum?
Yes, I'd be happy to. So we have partnered with Reach the World to bring an experience to our girls that they would not normally have. We want them to be able to travel to other parts of the world and learn about the economies, the cultures, the customs, and even the politics of those places. And so through Reach the World, our girls are exposed to world travelers. And we originally started it with our Spanish class because we are a dual language school, and we start our dual language program in kindergarten, and we go all the way up through 8th grade because our goal is for our girls to be biliterate. And then another way that we did it is we actually started looking at the literature, the books that our students were reading. And so we decided, okay, so where can we actually bring in different countries? So for example, the 6th graders this year, they're reading I Am Malala. And so they're learning not only about Malala's experiences, but about the country of Pakistan. And how Reach the World helped us is that we asked Reach the World to create a speaker series for us, if you will, so that before we begin a book, we actually launched the book with a speaker from that country. And that speaker gives us a cultural overview of the country that balances the book. And so, our girls could literally have one opinion of Pakistan just by reading Malala's story, but because we had that wonderful experience with Miss Fatima, they were able to understand that Pakistan is a large country and that not every single girl has the same experience as Malala did. Malala lived in one part of the country and had a particular type of experience, but Miss Fatima lived in another part of the country and grew up differently.
Thank you for that wonderful explanation. Can you tell us, you mentioned I Am Malala, and can you tell us a little bit more about what globally focused activities the scholars at Big League are doing this year?
So, in addition to having the Reach the World World Travelers come in, and now this year, the Reach the World World Travelers are actually coming in through the English classes, as I mentioned, and they're still coming in through the Spanish language arts classes. But what we have done as a school is we've actually created professional learning communities. So we've created a humanities professional learning community, and we've created a STEAM professional learning community. But through our humanities professional learning community, the way that we engage with Reach the World, which was so powerful this year, is we actually did a school-wide trip where our students were able to meet and have, if you will, mentors from City Foundation. And so one of the mentoring activities was that women in the financial industry, in the various offices of City, spoke to our girls and presented to our girls. And they presented to them about what it was like to be a woman in that industry, what it was like to be a woman in corporate America, period. Goal setting, self esteem, and just resilience and persistence and not giving up. So that's an example of one of the globally focused activities that we did. In addition, an activity that we're doing right now, because parental involvement is so important, is we're doing a celebration of students and their families, their cultures, and what they do as customs or traditions in their families. And the girls were inspired by Reach the World, once again, because Reach the World comes in, and whether it's through speakers or whether it's through world travelers, whether it's through trips, they spark the girls and the girls get ideas. And so, since we were coming right off of Three Kings Day, a number of our girls do celebrate that with their families, but our girls have created cultural presentations that they're doing along with our PTA, and there will be a cultural presentation celebration at the end of the month.
I wanted to ask you a little bit more about Reach the World as a program partner
Yes.
with Bronx Global Learning Institute for Girls. Can you tell us a little bit more about the process of integrating Reach the World programs into grade level curriculum?
The first thing I will say about Reach the World is I thoroughly enjoy working with Reach the World as a school. Big League, we enjoy working with Reach the World because Reach the World never says no. So integrating Reach the World with curriculum has not been difficult at all for us. We specifically wanted to create a curriculum around our literacy classes and our Spanish classes that looked at, if you will, big ideas. So, big ideas like perseverance, big ideas like assimilation, big ideas like oppression, big ideas like power. And we did it all based on girls or women in literature. And so we're looking at books such as I Am Malala. We're looking at books such as even at the eighth grade level, introducing them to Shakespeare and Taming of the Shrew, because the protagonist in that book is Kate. And so we specifically shared our outline first with Reach the World and asked about, well, how do you think you can help us with these big ideas? These big ideas are global, right? Sexism is a global idea. And so when you're talking about Malala in sixth grade, while you may not use the word sexism, right? You're certainly going to introduce girls to the concept and the idea about girls being denied their rights. So we talked about human rights. And then Reach the World says, oh, well, we can help with that. And then it really just took on a life of its own. Like we were shocked and amazed that our girls were able to speak to someone from the Malala Fund. And that was the first piece. Now, the second pieces fall into place from there in terms of how can you help us get world travelers from countries that we're looking at in terms of our Spanish classes? How can you help us get speakers to launch these specific books? Another thing that we are working on with Reach the World is helping us plan. And that's the beautiful thing. Reach the World is part of the planning process. Reach the World can help us build curriculum, and they do. That's the type of integration that we do at Reach the World. It's simple because we meet with them, we talk with them, we glean ideas from them, and it happens. I don't know, it's like magic, poof. No, it's seriously a great deal of conversing back and forth.
It's definitely a great process of collaboration that we both enjoy. I wanted to ask you, you spoke a little bit about incorporating scholars' identity as women into the curriculum. Can you talk a little bit more about how Big League incorporates scholars' identities into their curriculum?
The first piece of it is we have looked at the demographics of our community. The easiest piece is we first do the thing that has made our school distinct. And so we look at the fact that we are an all-girls school. So that was the first piece of identity, right? But identity is such a thing that's varied, and that's just one part of your identity. In fact, identity is one of, like how I talked about big ideas and talked about power and oppression, identity is one of the big ideas that we address in one of our modules. And that actually comes up in 7th grade. Because there's so many aspects of identity that you can speak of. You can speak about national origin, you can speak about race, you can speak about gender, how you identify. So we first look at, what we are born or how we are assigned, if you will, at birth, right? And right now we are an all-girls school. And that's a piece that we tackle, right? In terms of we build our curriculum that way first, right? But we actually look at the demographics of our school and we say, okay, well, where are our girls from? And so we found that we have a contingent of girls who are from several different Spanish-speaking countries. So as we begin to look at whether it's short stories, whether it's poems, and so we are literacy based. And so literacy is throughout every single class. So we're always trying to make sure that we are including literature in the social studies classes. That's why it's humanities, but also in the English classes, also in the Spanish classes. So as girls are interacting with literature, that they're reading literature from all different countries of where our students actually come from, right? So when they're learning about women, right, they're learning about women from all of these various cultures. So we have something called WCW, and we take that from social media, Women's Crush Wednesday. And so every single Wednesday, they're introduced just to a woman from a particular race or national origin that's represented in our school.
So the last thing I wanted to ask you is, looking ahead to the future, what are your goals for global learning at Bronx Global Learning Institute for girls?
I think just deepening the way that we learn about the histories of other countries, right? And yes, we have so much to do with our own country. The curriculum is packed, okay? But just using what happened with Reach the World and how our girls learned about Pakistan. Like if we could do modules and really be strategic about how we do them and create modules specifically for particular countries and particular time periods. The future is being really strategic about the history of other countries.
Thank you for your insightful answers, Ms. Rembert. That's all for today. We'll be back in 2 weeks with another episode. Be sure to like, comment, and follow our YouTube channel so you don't miss an episode.